what is going on? Hope you guys are having a good one. This is more or less just a quick video we decided to do, right? We're at the Sales.io Mastermind. I'm here with Gage, of course. We literally just had it yesterday over there, but we thought for you guys interested in Sales.io or interested in just people's stories, why not record an entire video just talking about it? So I'm here with Gage. Absolute pleasure, brother. Of course. Let's get into it. The biggest thing, obviously, we could just start off and then we can go from there, is like, who's Gage? Like, what is your story? Like, how'd you kind of get into this whole space? And then we'll just pick it up from there.
Yeah, man. So as I feel like everybody at that mastermind at one point or the other did start off, following the Gage agency, where I was super inspired. But I remember there's a super fond moment when I realized that I want to get into the online space. So I didn't have like the best upbringing at all. Single family or a single mother home. And she tried her best, but unfortunately there were some areas where she just didn't know how to figure it out. Finances was one of them. So I remember I was 15, 16 years old, something like that, living in a trailer park in Canada. And I was walking back from school one time to a trailer park that had no power, no Wi-Fi, no heat, nothing like that. And I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I remember walking back and it was like, fuck, pardon my language.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I have to make online money. I have to make this work. And that's when I fell down the route of the Gage route, starting the agency. And it's probably a year and a half of just like complete grinding, like making cold calls, doing everything that I could before I landed my first couple clients. And everything went downhill because I didn't know how to run a business. I was like 16 years old at the time. It was just like not good at all. And then fast forward a little bit, it's now January 2024 and I got kicked out of my house. So I was 17 years old, January in Canada. It was very, very cold and homeless for a little bit. And I'm staying in like some kind of like trap house, like genuinely.
Way. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was like not the best environment. And I'm super grateful that I was even able to stay there in the first place, especially during the winter time. But once that happened, I got kicked out. Relationship with my mom was just declining. She was like, Gage, you're a psychopath, like you're the worst son ever, blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. And it definitely did affect me because it was just like me and my mom for such a long amount of time. So for a span of 2 months, and around that time I also dropped out of high school as well. So high school dropout.
Man, you just
kicked out of my
run it.
yeah. So
run out of hands.
Yeah, and I'm native as well, so it's like it's kind of expected. Nobody believed in me. Like I remember people that I wouldn't even know that I went to high school with would just talk shit about me. Gage, your life just went downhill. What the hell are you doing? I knew you were going to be all this kind of stuff. People I didn't even speak about or speak to before. And either way, it definitely did affect me for a span of about 2 months. And I went down a really, really bad route. Doing bad things, doing hard drugs. And I'm not sure whether like I woke up one day or like whatever it may be, but I just came to the realization that if I were to continue going down the same train tracks that I am, the probability of me ending up in some alley, smoking crack, and then dead was 100%. Because that's exactly what was happening to every other person around me. And I didn't want that to be the case, right? And I'd love to say, like, it was that instant switch and then everything was just like sunshines and rainbows after the fact, but that wasn't the case. I still struggled with addiction. I still struggled with all this stuff, but I was going down the right path. And then just through connections, I ended up figuring out, because I didn't know this at the time, that you could sell for other people, right? And because I really cut my teeth, just like cold calling from an agency, just getting yelled at by people, all that kind of stuff, I was like, why don't I just give it a shot? Because what else am I going to do? So
that was actually so you went through all that stuff and you're in Iman's course, like the actual agency.
I was never even in the course. I didn't have enough money for it.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have enough money for it. I was trying to like just like find like the free courses that you could just download, all that kind of stuff. So I had like no money at the end of the day. This is like a Canadian thing, but I was making cold calls using a text now number. It's like this service, we don't have to pay for it. And all the numbers were showing up as like scam. Like now I know like the connection there was just terrible, right? Much improvement in that point. But, yeah, so end up just through a mutual connection that I had. And it's funny because looking back, Hormozy recently released a podcast where he said like, look, if you're broke, you should have no ego. Do the cold call, send out the email, post the content. Like you should do every single thing that you can to put yourself in a position to make money. And I kind of unknowingly did that by just reaching out to my network. And I just explained the situation. Hey, I just got kicked out of my house. I'm lost. I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to do. I'm actually scared.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like I was just scared. I had no plan, no nothing. And reached out to somebody that was in my network. He connected me with my first ever offer. And I started off as a setter. there, but I wasn't just a setter. So I was doing anything that they wanted me to do. I remember they used to send me YouTube videos where they did the closed captions on, and I have to go back, make sure there's no grammar issues.
No,
But I didn't care because what else was I going to do? Smoke crack? Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to do. I was like, I don't want to go back to that. I'm done with that. I don't want to go down that route, right? So I was doing everything that I can. And then that was maybe March 7th I started on the offer of 2024. Okay. And then for the next 2 or 3 months, I was a setter, did kind of shitty there, to be honest. Like, I was definitely learning a lot, wasn't the best rep, messed up in a lot of different areas. And then I ended up taking my first ever closing call for that offer, and it was a PIF. 60, 100 cash collected. It was a 35-minute call. I'd like to say, I'm the best, I'm super good. That was just pure luck at the end of the day. Yeah. I was on 15% comps at the time, so I was making about 1,500 Canadian.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Making 1,500 Canadian in 35 minutes. Right, as a 17-year-old.
How did that impact you? Because that, everybody has said or shared that moment where you literally are just like, the moment that it's kind of like you invented fire. You're like, wow, in 30 minutes, I can literally make this amount. Like, how did that impact you, bro?
It changed my perception of money by a lot, right? It's one thing to see all these people make money online, accomplish all these great things, and it's another thing to actually prove it for yourself.
Yeah.
And once I had that concept, I knew that there was never going back. All right. So started closing more deals. At the time, the company was pretty much a startup, so they didn't have any like back-end systems built out. They had no SOPs, no scripts. They didn't have like a call review vault. They had nothing.
Yeah.
And I realized that in order for me to get to that next evolution as the closer, right, that stuff would need to be there. So I took it under my own responsibility and I built all of that out. Right. End up working with the company, scaled them to heights that they haven't seen before, all that kind of stuff. And that's where I really came across sales.io, right, in the community. And that's when I saw how there were so many different kind of people that were in pretty similar situations in terms of me when it comes to like my age and that kind of thing. Yeah. And I really just felt like I wasn't alone in this because especially in the online space, it's super easy to feel like you're alone. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely.
And the sales.io community, 100%. Actually back then, world-class sales.
Yeah, world-class sales.
Yeah. World-class sales. It was just like that place where I could actually like connect and resonate with people. And I'd love to say again, life, was up ever since, but
wow.
Up.
When was world-class sales? When did you end up joining?
That's a great question. That was over a year and a half ago. Okay. I believe that was June of 2024.
Gotcha. Okay, so that was like around like that sort of transition where you're doing the setting, you're doing a little bit of that. So you were already a prior sales, like when you got into.
Yeah, I was like still like setting. I was like a hybrid closer, so like setting my own deals and then closing them at the time I joined sales.
Okay. So what kind of brought you to obviously wanting to join world class sales? Like what kind of like tipped you over the edge to actually get into?
There's actually a video that I saw from Scott and JJ.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that video popped off. Yeah, and I saw that and I just like really resonated with it, and then I actually got a chance to spoke with like JJ himself, and I just saw like right from the start, and I can still say this till this day with 100% confidence. He's just probably one of the most, not even probably the most genuine guy that I've ever met, right? Especially in this space, right? And I always just kept around in the community, hopping on calls, everything like that. And a lot of the OGs, I came to the mastermind. A lot of the OGs, all the OGs know me, right? A lot of newer guys, not so much, but. Probably why
you're the old head where it's like, who are you? Like, who are you actually?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's awesome. So like, what are you doing now? Like because you've been with us for a while. I mean, you've been through so many different offers probably. Like, what is Gage up to now?
Yeah, so I've actually only been through 2 offers.
Really?
In the past little over a year and a half at this point. I'm super proud of that fact because I feel like something that a lot of sales reps do is they'll jump from offer to offer and offer, and they think it's a flex or whatever it may be. And it's like, if I'm taking an interview with somebody that wants to work on my team, and they're like, yeah, Gage, I've been in sales for like 10 months and I've been on like 7 offers. I'm like, instant red flag.
Yeah.
Right. But that was my first offer. It was like a B2C offer, kind of like mentor or e-com mentorship, pretty much is what it was. And then I thought it was the shit, to be honest with you. I kind of was letting my ego I was still 17 at the time.
Yeah.
So I was still 17. I was still super, super young. I was kind of letting my ego get to me. And then come January of 2025. Right. Still working on this offer. I was about to go travel Asia for a couple months, and I wanted something different because I felt like I reached the cap for where I was with the current company. Mm-hmm. I wanted to work with a more experienced team. So ended up, again, through connections, got connected with the current offer that I'm on right now, which is a B2B offer, essentially selling lead gen to people in real estate, solar, roofing, that kind of thing. And the first month I was on the offer, I failed, bro. I just completely sucked.
Yeah,
Shit was so ass. But I'm very grateful for that opportunity because it really showed me in real time how much more there is to learn.
Yeah.
Right.
If you were to say for some of the people watching, because obviously a lot of these reps that do kind of get into sales.io, they come in with that ego thinking they know their shit. What would you tell them, especially for some of those guys, like coming in, what could they expect? Like learning from the coaches, but like for the ego side.
I feel ego is wildly misunderstood. Right. You have these books, ego is the enemy, that kind of thing. I really don't think ego is the problem. Ego is only a problem if you let it interfere with your relationships and with the conversations that you have and with the knowledge that you're trying to gain.
Yeah.
Right.
Like people put like this like limiter to them to their own self on what they can learn because of the ego, but that's the only kind of time where you
and that's the
consider
thing.
that.
Like ego is a double-edged sword. I was having a conversation on the limo to the first part of the mastermind that we had,
Yeah.
and I was explaining this concept where it's like at the end of the day, ego in and of itself is not bad,
Yeah.
right? But so many people, let's say they close a deal, they close a second deal, they close a 3 deal, they're on like a 2-week spree. They have all this ego inside of them, and you got to think of it like an energy, right? But then they're letting it go out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so good. I don't need to learn. I don't need to do my call reviews anymore. I don't need to focus on my health. And all this energy is just seeping out and seeping out and
Yeah.
seeping out and seeping out. And then when they don't close a deal, and then they don't close another deal, and then they don't close another deal, all the ego that they once built out is now gone. So they have nothing to feed off of. And that's when you get the sales reps.
That's where the emptiness kicks in.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
You get the sales reps where they go through the sales ruts because they have nothing to feed off of. Where the best closers are the people that have the ego. They use it every single day. I'm the best. I'm the best. And I'm not talking about affirmations. Like you have to use your past results to back that up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But they keep it inside. And that way, when they don't close the deal, all the energy is still there because they didn't seep it out.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't constantly like, oh, I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. They just kept it inside.
Yeah.
And that's where they're able to gain that consistency. And to relate that back to what they can expect with the coaches that are coming in, at the end of the day, it's when you're in sales, a lot of it is just maturity at the end of the day. And the coaches at Sales.io are some of the most mature people that I ever known, right? And they can respectfully check you or like little bro you and be like, hey man, completely understand where you're coming from.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey man, like I understand where you're coming from, but if you're genuinely trying to achieve your goals, you got to get rid of this, right? And they say it in a way that will actually allow you to understand it. Right? And you're not going to get the first try. You're not going to get the second try. That's why you need ongoing mentorship. I probably invested $30,000, $40,000 at this point into my own mentorship and courses, all that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's a constant growth. It's constant evolution.
Yeah.
And you always need somebody to check you. Right?
Yeah.
And how to explain this? You need somebody that's going to hold you to the standards that they hold themselves to. And most coaches out there these days, and I've seen a lot of them, I've spoken to a lot of them, I've seen a lot of the back end, they don't hold themselves to their own standards. They then thus don't hold their students to any standards whatsoever, and they get results, right? That's not the case with Sales.io.
And you feel like, especially with JJ,
Especially with JJ.
Yeah.
100%.
How has JJ impacted you as a, more or less, even as a man, but just overall?
Yeah, that's a great question. In more ways than I could even comprehend. Right? JJ is somebody that genuinely has the best intentions for you, right? Like genuinely. And I feel like a lot of people say that to like, prop up like the coaching as a referral and testimonial, but like genuinely, JJ is the epitome of that, right? I've sent personal friends of mine that I've known for years and years and years that are trying to get into sales to JJ multiple times. And not once have I ever heard something bad from it, ever. Right? And that's why I'm going to continue to send people. And that's why Sales.io isn't going to die, because it's built off of word of mouth, because of the work that is actually being done is quality work. Yeah. It's not just a money grab, like the majority of,
a lot of these communities that blow up real quick. And then next year you're like, where are you at?
Yeah, no, exactly.
There.
Right. Sales.io is the complete opposite of that.
Yeah. Well, in regards to the coaching staff, how would you describe some of the coaches, like specifically, like somebody doesn't know who Scott is, doesn't know who Cole is, whatever the case may be, like how would you describe them and their coaching styles?
Yeah, so one of the great things that I love about Sales.io is that each coach has their own domain and has their own style, right? You guys don't necessarily shove one selling style down everybody's throats, right?
Mhm.
Everybody explains, each coach, like Scott, for example, has a massively different selling style than Cole.
100%.
Cole has a massively different selling style than JJ. But the fact that I'm able to interact with every single one of them, ask them questions on their own styles, really pick and choose to build my own style, but more importantly, have the insight on that style, because I don't know everything at the end of the day, is what makes the combination so powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Even Jalen as well. Right? Jalen, one of the coaches for setters, right? I still speak to him. I just had a 30-minute conversation before I hopped on this, right?
Right over there,
I'm still
guys.
learning things from him, even though we're kind of in different domains at this point, right? Because you have so many different viewpoints, but they all have the results to back it up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess with the mastermind, what was your experience like, especially going to a mastermind? I don't know how many you've been to, but
My
like
first one, actually.
your first one?
Yeah, my first mastermind.
How was this mastermind for you?
It's very interesting. It wasn't what I was expecting in the best way possible, right? I was really expecting this to be like tactical sales stuff. And don't get me wrong, there were some instances kind of here and there, especially with the conversations that I had.
Yeah.
But I was expecting it to be like a lot more tactical, a lot more kind of like black and white, kind of just like standards.
Yeah.
Is what I'd say. I came in and it was the complete opposite of that. It was something that I've never experienced before. Right? There was a certain energy in the conversations that I had. There was a certain energy that Cole had, that Scott had, that JJ had, and the genuality. I don't even know if that's a word, right?
You're good.
But the care that JJ has and that JJ shows in his videos is 10 times more in real life.
Yeah.
All right. And if I were to really summarize the mastermind in one word, I'd say high frequency.
That's a good way to tie it. You're good.
Yeah, I got a call coming through. Oh, we got Jay. Jay's one of the OGs of
Yeah.
World Class Sales. Yeah.
There he goes. It goes to show. We're here. Awesome, man. And it's so true, right? Because I've been to a bunch of masterminds before and never have I ever seen something like this, because at the end of the day, like the number one thing, and you could probably agree about this, is like everybody will teach you frameworks. Everybody will teach you how to sell, the tactics behind it.
Yeah.
But nobody will teach you how to, one, influence someone, but touch their heart. Also, actually do the internal work to be the person you say you are.
Yep.
And not have the, what's it called? The, what's it called? It's the bias that people have. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you've seen it firsthand, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing with sales.io is that they're very congruent.
100%.
Right. One of the things that JJ says, which I absolutely love, is the person that you are off your sales calls is the person who you are on your sales calls. Right. I'm not really the kind of person to like throw shade on any other sales trainers or anything else, but JJ, Scott, and Cole are really the only people that I've met and that I've spoken to and that I've interacted with that genuinely embody that in their day-to-day life. And that's what makes them so respectable. That's what makes them so knowledgeable. And that's what makes them so genuine.
Amen. And I'd say the last thing to wrap this up, because first and foremost, how old are you?
I'm 18.
18, right? You started at such a younger age, right? For an 18-year-old that's watching this, a younger guy that's watching this, that might not even have a lot of money, right? Might not even know where to even start.
Yeah.
What is your biggest piece of advice to like get them to a position where they want to be?
If I had to summarize all my success and everything that I've accomplished and everything that I've done in my life, which isn't a lot because I'm still so young, brutal self-accountability to the point where it's delusional, to the point where people are going to say, Gage, like, that's crazy. That's not your fault, right? The reason why I am where I am now and not genuinely in some alley smoking crack, dead or in jail, is because every single thing that happened to me, regardless of what it was, is my fault and nothing else.
100%. Complete accountability. Without anything, no victim mindset here.
Exactly.
Don't fuck around with that shit.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Guys, that is basically wrapping up an incredible weekend, honestly. But first and foremost, this is why we do these videos. We do these videos because there's a lot of stories to tell. But most importantly, I know you guys have a lot of questions that hopefully these videos will answer. And if they don't, and it's up to you, you can put a description, your tag on there if they want to get a hold of them. If not, you can always book a call. At the end of the day, have a conversation with us because that's what we're here for. And outside of that, hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you next one.